absolutely covered in tree fluff. Oh, pure muscle right there. How are you, brother? It was good to see you, man. Thank you for taking time out of your day to join me on this fine, miserable, rainy afternoon on a Tuesday, Monday. Lost track of time. Time isn't even real. I remembered the second point for the previous video that you saw yesterday. Maybe I'm going to release this on the same day. I don't know. Do not be judgmental. That was point number 2 from yesterday's video, was judgmental. So obviously I was speaking about how be conscious of which energy that you're using and be conscious of which side of yourself that you're showing to the world. So for example, right now when I'm on the camera and I'm talking to you, I'm either going to be in maybe a very respectful and polite and articulate kind of manner. That's a side of me that I choose to show you. Sometimes I come on the camera and it's a bit of tough love. Maybe I come across as quite arrogant or egotistical or like fuck off, blah, 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 swearing, and the inner counselor state comes out. Sometimes I might showcase that side. So we discussed that topic in yesterday's video. This one I want to talk about the contrary to that, which is now that we understand this, and we also understand that first impressions are very important, and whichever side that you choose to show to the world is oftentimes how people perceive you, especially if it's the only side they ever get to see. You know, it's a prime example with our good friend Andrew. If you only see the extravagant and the over-exaggerated side of Andrew, you guys know what I'm talking about, you know, the misogynistic side, you're going to perceive him as a bit of a dick, as a bit of a misogynist, as like, oh, who does this guy think he is? Like, arrogant, oh, what a dick. That's what you're going to think. Whereas if you don't get to see his loving and caring and his gentlemanly side, which I've seen, not in person, but obviously, you know what I mean, on certain videos, if you don't watch the whole spectrum of who he is as an individual, you'll perceive him as just one thing. So it's important that we understand this for ourselves so we can make sure that, yo, where's the sunlight, bro? Oh, there we go. The gods are blessing me. It's important that we understand this for ourselves so that we can make sure that we are consciously aware of which energy and which side that we are showing to the world. If I come on the camera, I cannot speak for shit today, bruv. If I come on the camera, I'm a bit rusty, heartbroken, man, let me off. And I showcase my aggressive, my like military, tough love side, like, yeah, bro, get the job done, do push-ups, do this, which is a side of me. It definitely comes out when I'm in workout mode or when I'm running or whatever, or when I'm with the lads. Then yeah, that inner military kind of mode will come out. If I just showcase that side on the internet, that is how people will perceive me. They won't know that I've got a loving and caring and empathetic and just a soft side to me. You know what I mean? Bro, I walk down the street and I'll pet cats and stuff when I'm on the way back home from the gym. I'll just sit there and like stroke a cat and say hello to a cat, or like a dog or some shit. Or maybe there's a guy holding a baby on his shoulders. This happened literally today when I was on the way to this job interview, which is why I'm dressed in quite a more smart attire than usual. I was walking and I seen like a kid on the dad's shoulders, and I just like literally looked and I was like, oh, that's cute. Like, bro, I've got that side of me too. I've got that side of me as well, right? I've got a killer side to me, and then I've got that side. So it's not fake. It's not that I'm faking it. It's just there's two sides. Now, with this understanding, we must understand that we can't judge people based on first impressions. I know it's hard, but we can't judge people based on what we think they are just because of what they've chose to show us. Does this make sense? I remember this one time when I was in college, way back in the day, when I was like 17, 18, and I was studying public services. So like military training, police training, paramedics training, all of the kind of uniform services. I wanted to be in the armed police or the military. That was my two decisions that I was trying to decide which to do. And I remember the first day that I got on the course, there was this lad who's actually now quite a good friend of mine. We're still in contact to this day. You might know who he is if you can kind of guess. I'm not going to give away any clues or names or anything like that. Maybe he'll know who he is. But I remember he was on the bike machine because we had this like gym where we had to practice like health and fitness to make sure we could pass the fitness tests. So he was on the bike machine. I don't know what it was about him. I don't know whether he was a bit shy that first day, or naturally if you're just meeting new people, you're a bit reserved. I just looked at him and I still remember the words that I got in my brain to this day. I looked at him and I thought, oh, he's a dick. He's going to be a knobhead. I don't know why I thought that. I thought maybe it was the face he was pulling, and you know, because like lads sometimes, especially when you're young like that, you kind of put on the facade, trying to act hard. I'm not saying this was what he was doing. It's just this is how I perceived it. So I just thought, oh, he's going to be one of them dicks, isn't he? When I got to speaking with him, because I was on the bike machine next to him later on, and I spoke to him, and he's like, bro, this guy's actually sound. Like, he's actually a cool guy. I actually like this guy. So my first impression of him was a dick. And as soon as I got to know him and I've seen a different side of him, I thought he was a really cool guy. And I'm still friends with him to this day. I seen him in town not too long ago in my city centre in Manchester. and we ran into each other. I was like, bro, I said his name, I didn't say bro, but I was like, ugh. And then he came over, he's like, oh my God, yo, how have you been? I haven't seen you in a while, you good? Yeah, bam, bam, bam. Got the Instagram and stuff, and I got his number, rizzed him up, easy. So yeah, I can rizz up guys as well, bro. I'm not gay, don't worry. And yeah, now we're back in contact and we're friends. So that first impression that I had of him was like, just very, very wrong, basically. And now I've realised the true side of him. So it's understandable how we think like that as human beings, but it's also beneficial for you if you just try not to judge people based on just one side of them. If you've only seen one side, assume that people have more than one side. You just got to assume that, because until you get to know them, until you genuinely can say like, yeah, I've spent a lot of time around this person in person, forget about the internet. The internet is all fake. It's all a false version of reality. It's not real life. So please understand that. Don't perceive me on the camera and think you know who I am. I mean, yes, I try and be as authentic and as real as possible, but there are some sides that I don't show, of course. So just understand that and don't be so judgmental. That was point number 2 from yesterday's video. I hope you can digest that properly. Because when I meet people now, I always have this in the back of my mind. Don't be judgmental. Shake their hand, say hello, dap them up, fist bump them, whatever age they are. I'll do different things, introduce myself. And I want to make sure that before I form a proper opinion on this person, that I've gotten to know them, I've spent a bit more time with them, rather than just writing people off. Because, you know, if I wrote that guy off from the first day because I thought, oh, he was a dick, the guy in college, if I just wrote it off, I wouldn't have that extra friend now. And he's a genuinely good guy. I remember when I broke up with my ex and stuff like that, and I was going through all that shit. No, even before that, but I remember when I first met my ex. This is how long I've known this guy, literally for years. I remember when I first met my ex-girlfriend, and I posted a picture of us on our story, on my Instagram story, of me and the girl, and he was like, oh, I'm really happy for you, bro, she seems like a lovely girl. Like, but he's just a genuine guy, do you know what I mean? And I think if I was to just write that off because you know, he looks like a dick, like, I don't know him yet. So trying not to be so judgmental with people. And this is something that I've recently learned as well, because if you go back and watch my old videos, you'll see how judgmental I could come across sometimes, in terms of like, oh, you know, because I understand in the self-improvement space and the internet space, there is this movement of guys that are trying to better themselves, and a lot of the time, fucking fly, bro, go away. We get egotistical, right? And we want to prove to all, it's like who's got the biggest dick, that kind of thing. It's like all the men trying to prove that we're all like, who's the best, who's the alpha. And then we get into this judgmental, egotistical mindset of like, yeah, well, I take 4 cold showers a day and I do 50 push-ups a day. It's like, bro, shut up, no one cares. Do you know what I mean? Everyone else is going to watch that and just think, what are you talking about? So I understood this now, obviously, as I've matured and I've gotten older and I've been in the internet game a lot longer. I kind of realized the mistakes. And if any of you guys do want to be YouTubers, or you want to be in the internet space at all, you want to be an influencer, just please understand this. Don't be so judgmental when you are giving your advice, because honestly, it's just going to push people away rather than make them listen. If I was to come on the camera and tell you, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do that, you're probably not going to listen. Whereas if I gave you the opportunity and I explained both sides of it, so if you watch porn, you know, you might have some negative side effects. You might get erectile dysfunction. Your dick might stop working. You might not feel confident in the bedroom. You might have a false sense of what sex actually is, etc., etc. But then I explained the contrary to that. I explained the positive. Well, you know, if you stopped watching porn, this could happen. Maybe you might get better blood flow to your penis because you're not wanking all the time. Like, if I explain, such a random example, but if I explained both sides and then said, it's up to you, bro, it's your life, you do whatever you want, which is kind of the approach that I'm trying to take with my videos now, it would be a lot more better for you, wouldn't it? So yeah, try not to be so judgmental, try not to push your worldview onto other people. I know it's hard, egos get involved, we're all human, it happens. And for me to come on the camera in front of thousands of people and admit that to you, I did the same thing. Just please understand that, learn from my lessons, learn from my mistakes, and don't do the same thing. Don't try and push your worldview, because no one else actually cares. If they want to learn, if they want help, they'll come to you, or you'll know, they'll just be open to it, right? So let's keep that in mind. That was point number 2. Hope you can learn from that. And yeah, just next time you're out and about on the street and you're looking at people and you naturally find your brain getting these intrusive thoughts of like, he's fat, he's a dick, he's gay, he's this, he's that, whatever. And I don't mean gay in an insult, I mean like genuinely gay. You know, just don't be so judgmental. Take that back and just be like, I haven't met the guy yet, so I'm not going to judge him. Okay? Cool. Coaching is down below in the description. If you want to learn more from me, look after yourself, my bro. Whoops. And I'll see you soon.